Hey friends, hope you're all well. Today, we're taking a look at the iPhone 17 Pro in deep blue and the first ever iPhone Air in space black. So these aren't provided by Apple. I picked these up myself from the Apple Store just an hour ago, so I'm able to share my honest opinion. iPhone delivery estimates are already pushed back into late October, so the local Apple Store was actually packed on launch day. If you grab one this week, let me know if your Apple Store was just as busy. And so now we're back in the studio. Let's go ahead and unbox these. And I think I'm gonna start with the iPhone 17 Pro first. So here is the box. I've got the 1TB version in deep blue because deep blue was the closest color to black this year. And we've got a nice embossing on the box here with that camera plateau and the iPhone in deep blue color here. And yeah, let's go ahead and open it up and enjoy the unboxing ASMR. So wow, this is the deep blue color and I think it looks pretty nice. I mean, it's not quite black, but it is definitely this dark shade of blue. Under certain lighting, it's quite blue. It's almost like the midnight color on the MacBook, actually. Like I said, I would have preferred a black color, but this is honestly pretty decent in person. So there's only 3 colors this year. We've got silver, cosmic orange, and this deep blue. Pretty crazy that there's no black. I saw the cosmic orange in person at the store. It looked good, but personally, I feel like I'd get over it after a week. So there's 3 main changes this year. Immediately, you can see the camera bump, and there's new camera sensors, larger camera sensors. The display actually gets a massive improvement from 2000 nits to 3000 nits peak brightness. And you've also got improved thermals and a bigger battery because of that camera design change. So I'm really keen to test this all out. So before I peel off the screen, let's take a quick comparison look between the iPhone 16 Pro here and the iPhone 17 Pro here. This is one of the largest design changes ever since the iPhone 11, I believe, about 6-7 years ago. So you can see the camera plateau, as they call it, is definitely raised slightly more than the iPhone 16 Pro, and it's enlarged all the way across. I really like it. Some people were saying that, you know, oh, they've just extended the camera bump all the way to the side, but there's a few design changes and reasons for that. We've got that larger battery down here now. We've also got more space for that square sensor, and we've also got bigger camera sensors. So, you know, it's not just an aesthetic change, but it actually does have practical changes. So let's go ahead and do the screen peel. Immediately, there's no difference, but the screen does get double the protection this year, apparently. So we've got Ceramic Shield 2 on this iPhone 17 Pro, whereas we get Ceramic Shield number 1, I guess, on the iPhone 16 Pro. And this makes it 3 times more scratch resistant. At least that's what Apple says. Because I don't know if you can tell, but I've got plenty of scratches on the 16 Pro from, you know, having it against keys, just chucking it in the pocket or bags. So if this really is 3 times more durable, I'm all for that. Also, another huge change. This is titanium. This has gone back to an aluminum frame. It's actually it makes sense because this constantly overheated when I was in really warm temperatures. And so clearly the titanium was not working for Apple. Super excited to test this out and see if it's going to overheat. And the other thing, like immediately holding these two together, I would say that there's no major weight difference. I know Apple mentioned quite a few times in the past 2 years that the titanium frame is so much lighter, but funnily enough, in hand, I would almost say that this is lighter. So I'm just going off feeling here because I know technically that this is very slightly lighter by only a few grams, but in hand, essentially feels the same. Something else that's interesting is the new anti-reflective coating. Apparently it works much better than the 16 Pro. So that's something I want to test out right now with the studio lighting. Don't know if you can see that lighting, but right here, you can see that definitely the 16 Pro here reflects that large studio light a lot more. While this has this bluish tint, I'm not sure if I'm seeing that right, but this definitely has this bluish tint. And it seems less reflective from my perspective here anyway, than the 16 Pro. Let me turn the displays on just to get a better idea. And here, you can get a better idea of what it looks like if you're in reflective lighting. Anyway, what else comes in the box? Well, we've got the usual USB-C braided cable here, and depending on where you are in the world, we get the SIM ejector tool, because this specific variant here still has, thankfully, the ejectable SIM card tray. And I'm in Australia, and I know that Apple's made changes this year where they're removing the SIM ejector tray from even more countries, including Canada and Japan. Thankfully, Australia still gets one. What else is in here? You've got this, and that is honestly about it. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Let's go ahead and turn on this display and see if I can see a difference immediately with the display brightness. So holding down the power button, you've got that liquid glass design in the new iOS 26. Looks pretty fresh. I can't change the brightness just yet until I come in, but like immediately looks pretty good. Like in person, this is actually quite bright, and I have to check the camera to see if it's overblown on camera. And the two other changes that you should definitely know about is the increased RAM. So it's gone from 8 GB on the 16 Pro to now 12 GB, which is a 50% increase in RAM. So that's going to be much better for multitasking, pro raw photos, processing those photos. So really nice quality of life improvement. And we've also got a new modem, the advanced 5G modem called C1X. So technically you should see faster cellular data and speeds. And on top of that, yeah, the design change, you've got the antenna wrapping around the camera plateau here. So all in all, you should technically see faster cellular speeds as well, which I'll definitely test. But overall, I am really impressed. I like this so far. Also, I am the type of person who puts a case on a new phone from day one. We spend a lot on these devices, so it makes sense to protect them. And RHINOSHIELD is sponsoring this video segment and has sent me their entire iPhone 17 case lineup. First up are their Solid X cases. So these feel so premium in hand with this rigid yet soft touch feel. Plus, if you ever drop the case, which I definitely do, the reinforced corners and the eco-friendly shock spread material this case is made of absorbs 71% of the impact force. Yet in hand, it feels really light at around 37 grams. If you prefer something that still lets you clearly show off the iPhone 17, then this super lightweight clear case is it. And I reckon it really suits the iPhone 17 Air particularly. It also looks great on this iPhone 17 Pro here. It doesn't add any bulk, yet is very durable. Plus it comes with a lifetime anti-yellowing guarantee. If you like to switch things up here, the Mod NX lets you swap the bumper and back plates to match your style. And Apple did release a bumper also, but RHINOSHIELD's bumper has military grade drop protection and can be used with a custom backplate as well. And all RHINOSHIELD cases are battle tested for real life use in their in-house labs, so you know they're going to do a good job protecting your sparkly new iPhone. So if you want to protect your new iPhone 17 with RHINOSHIELD, then definitely use the link below and add code Andrew for an extra 10% off. And with that code, you can also get 40% off the screen protectors and also a free lens protector. Okay, now moving on, we've got Apple's very first iPhone Air here. I'm super excited and curious about this phone. It's all about its light and sleek design, but also it does pack the new A19 Pro chip, the very same chip as the iPhone 17 Pro, but it only has a single camera and oddly retains a titanium design. But anyway, really interested to open this one up, so kick back and enjoy some more unboxing ASMR. Wow. So this here is the space black color, and oh my God, it is so thin in person. Holy, it feels ridiculous. It feels like I could just snap it with just my thumbs here, which I'm definitely not going to try doing. But this space black color just looks incredible. The railings here, the camera plateau here just looks so incredible. Like bringing the iPhone 17 Pro back in. I just wish it came in this space black color. I gotta say, the space black color is definitely the one to get. It looks incredible in person. I don't know if you can see the details here, but yeah, I'm telling you, it looks so premium in person. More premium than the 17 Pro, which is ridiculous. So yeah, it's really thin. And I'm not gonna lie, when Apple announced this initially, I was like, no one needs a thinner iPhone, right? But now, like holding it in person, I kind of get it. This would feel great when traveling or commuting. And technically it's a bit larger as well than the iPhone 17 Pro. So you do get a larger display on the iPhone Air here. And it's also the thinnest iPhone ever. It's 5.6 millimeters thin, 165 grams. And you know what? I've also got the iPhone 6 here to compare it to in terms of thinness, because I feel like this is relatively comparable. So it's almost about as thin as the iPhone 6. Actually, I'd say, I don't know if you can see this, but it's definitely like a little thinner. So it's just silly thin and it's so light, especially just coming from the 17 Pro. Really, really impressed with this, like right off the bat. Before we do the screen peel, and just real quick, if you're still here with me, you're actually part of the only 25% who would actually still be watching at this point. So if you're enjoying this video, I'd be really grateful if you drop a like and comment the code word AIR, so I know you've made it this far. I really appreciate your support. Okay, let's go ahead and do the screen peel. That is a nice sized display. Oh my goodness. You can probably tell that I am very excited for this phone, more so than I am for the 17 Pro, I'd have to say. On the back, you've got a single lens, and this here is the 48 megapixel main camera. And because it's so thin, obviously, they could only fit in, apparently, a single lens. It only has 2x zoom via digital cropping. So that's a bit of a shame, but I guess it's better than no zoom at all. At the front, we've got an 18 megapixel front camera with features like center stage and dual recording. And just a heads up, there is no Pro RAW photos and no log recording. You'll need the Pro phone for those features, and that is a big miss. But then again, this is not technically a Pro phone. And I would also imagine if you're recording in log, yeah, this thing would probably overheat. It's still made out of titanium and it's so razor thin. So I am kind of concerned for the thermals, but yeah, we'll take it out in a real day in the life test over this week. But I think what I'm like surprised about most is how they were able to fit in an A19 Pro chip into this, and the screen is actually quite similar. So I'm gonna turn this on now and hold this. So despite the iPhone being this thin, they've managed to still fit almost the same display as the 17 Pro. It's larger and it also hits 3000 nits, also has ProMotion. This is a 6.5 inch display. This is a 6.3 inch display. Pretty impressive if you ask me, in terms of thinness as well, that they've managed to fit both the same processor and essentially the same screen on this thing. It's also like very likely a stepping stone device to, you probably guessed it, the iPhone folding device. So I mean, if you add these two sort of displays together, or these two phones together, you can see how it would fold into just about the same size maybe, or slightly larger than the 17 Pro. So it's very likely a stepping stone device. And unlike the 17 Pro, where you may get the eSIM tray depending on where you are, this iPhone Air, yeah, you definitely won't get an eSIM tray. It's just too thin to fit one in, which makes a lot of sense. And so it's eSIM only. But yeah, this is a freaking great color. I absolutely love this design. So that's just the first look, but I'll have my full reviews on both the 17 Pro and the Air dropping in about a week. A few of you have been absolutely hyping up my phone reviews, saying they're better than MKBHD, you know, which is crazy praise, and I'm not sure I can live up to that hype. But I am about to hop on a plane and will be reviewing these phones while I travel, so the videos should be pretty interesting. You know I'm going to give you an honest take on these phones, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss them. Apparently, 80% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. If you're one of them and you're enjoying the content, consider hitting that subscribe button and tell me, what would you want to test on these new iPhones? What would you like me to test on these new iPhones? I'll definitely work them into the full review videos.